Hi, Stoughton. This is Steve Cavey, select person for the town of Stoughton. Today is June 16th, 2020, and I wanted to give you guys a brief rundown of the meeting we had tonight. So we had some big changes, some small ones. First of all, we are no longer the Board of Selectmen. We are now the Select Board. It sounds like that might not be the case in all of our paperwork. After the public vote, so town meetings voted to change the language. It was on the ballot to change. Still has to go to the Attorney General's office, but so that there might be still some paperwork that sort of floating around that will reference the Board of Selectmen. But it's really just a matter of time before that all gets through the various clerks' offices and then changed. So I'm just going to call us the Select Board, and I think that's what we are now. Before I go on, I do want to remind everybody that I have a link down below in the description that will provide, you can find the complete video of our meeting on Stoughton Media Access. You can also find the agenda. There's a link that will direct you to where the agendas are and where the minutes are. And I do have another link down there. I hope you guys will use it to very periodically get a message out of it. But it's an anonymous suggestion box. That also references the Board of Selectmen. I tried to change it, and I can't change it without resetting it, like basically just starting a new account. I'm going to see if I can mess around with it a little bit more. Maybe this is some way to edit it that I didn't know about. But otherwise, the next time, if I'm not able to fix it, I'll just delete the old one and open up a new one, and we'll start from scratch. But I liked having all those messages together to kind of see the types of things people have been concerned about. So anyway, I'm going to go quickly through what we've discussed, what happened tonight. So we had the call to order, and we now have the other big change. There's an election, so we have Christine Howe returning to the select board, and we have an addition to our board in Deborah Roberts. So first step was a reorganization of the board. Chairman O'Regan, former Chairman O'Regan, stepped down. Our former vice chair was Mike Sullivan. He's no longer on the Board of Selectmen. So we started with somewhat of a clean slate. And there was a nomination for Christine Howe to be chair. And that was voted unanimously. So we all agreed on that. And much to my surprise, there was a nomination for me to be the vice chair. I tried to talk them out of it, but the rest of the group wouldn't have any of it. So once again, it was a unanimous vote for me to now be the vice chair. Hopefully I'll do well. I'm going to work my butt off to make sure I do. But I appreciate everyone's faith that this is a role I can take on, and I won't let you down. So then we had citizens' requests, select board comments. There were a number of people who had some comments, some people didn't. One thing that I'm going to start doing, I've not used that section to comment particularly well. I just, when things came up, I talked about them. Used the opportunity to thank people in the community who've helped, both in town government, but also, if you hear somebody who saved a life or something along those lines, I tried to call it out there. But we've got some real serious problems in our community, in our country, and things that we have to think about. And I have this modest platform to speak, and there's some things I would like to continue to address. And so long as I have that opportunity, I'm going to take it. And so I'm going to use that opportunity to comment on government issues I think people should be paying attention to, and they might be a little bit more philosophical rather than pragmatic. But I do hope people will take them seriously. I'm taking them very seriously. Tonight, my main, I guess the theme of my discussion was really about the importance of people who are young getting involved in politics and trying to understand it. The mechanisms of government, they can be complicated, but they're not as complicated maybe as people think. and there's people out there who are more than happy to mentor and try to show people the ropes and help guide them through trying to make change that is lasting. Protests are great. I think it's a great way to generate a lot of enthusiasm. But getting something from a protest to be an actual, law or some sort of a governmental doctrine, like, it requires more than just protesting. You have to draft, and you have to persuade, and you have to get people to vote for things, and that's how the change becomes a lasting change. So some of that's not, well, most of it's not intuitive. Almost none of it's intuitive. So you have to kind of find people who are willing to help you find your way. I did. They're out there, and they're more than happy to help. And so people who have ideas and are looking to, follow through on some very noble causes, I ask that you reach out to me, to anybody. There's a lot of people, but reach out to me, and I'll do my best to try to give you as much guidance as I can, not to influence your thoughts or tell you what's right or wrong about them. I want you to kind of follow your own heart on that front. But what I can help you with is maybe just showing you where the mechanisms are, where the levers to government are. Happy to do it. So we had town manager comments. We had an emergency spending authorization in excess of appropriations that's related to COVID-19. We had a discussion with town moderator, the newly elected town moderator, Bob Mullen. He provided a presentation on the procedures that they intend to use for town meeting. And then we also had to designate, by the way, if you're a town meeting representative, try your best to find the information. There should be people supplying it, but there's a lot of different ways that people communicate. And if you don't use email, for example, or for some reason, if the way the message is getting transmitted just happens to not be the way that you receive things best, we want to make sure that the information gets to you. And this falls under the responsibility of the town moderator. But I do want to ask that you kind of reach out to folks and see, if you read people in your precinct or the town moderator, you can reach out to him. I'm a town meeting representative, and as a town meeting representative, I'd be happy to help you with that as well. So you can feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get you the information you need. They're looking to provide people who need them with Chromebooks or and as if you have internet access. If you don't, they want to also see how many people don't. That they're offering training sessions to kind of work through how to actually get the vote, how to register your vote, how to use the technology. And so if you get a chance, if you care to, please reach out to somebody if you haven't received any notification. And then also, there are some changes that the moderator's asking to make. For example, this will be a so far as I understand, a fully remote town meeting, and the laws in place regarding these changes requires that a designated public safety official be the one who actually notifies the Attorney General. So we had to designate a public safety official, and we designated Police Chief McNamara to be that official who would actually relay that message to the Attorney General's office. So I think that's about it there. We had 2 public hearings. One was an application for a common vicular license for Sun LLC. Near me, I'm pretty close to like the McDonald's, the Stop and Shop. There's a Chinese food restaurant called Yummy House, and that's changed ownership. And I apologize, I've forgotten what the name is going to change as well. But the lady who bought that business was getting just a license in order to serve food. So that was a unanimous vote to approve, and I wish her luck. Next was an application for all alcohol license, where Morel's is or used to be. Great place. I already misses it, especially the live music. But somebody else wants to try their hand at it. And there's going to be a restaurant called the 577 or 577 Washington Street Grill. Steve Goulston, who I think also owns the building, and he's looking to get an all alcohol license for that property, which was also approved unanimously. Though in order for this to take effect, he'll have to get a common vicular license first, and that will trigger the all alcohol license. So we'll probably see him again in the next couple of weeks. But rather than have him come back again to discuss the same thing, we passed this one and allowed the vote of the common vic to essentially trigger the all alcohol. And next, we had Stoughton Center revitalization. So this was a discussion by our town planner, John Charbonneau, whose name I, for some reason, I butcher, even though it's not that complicated of a name. But I tend to do it. I'm sorry, John. I'll try not to. But he just went through our downtown zoning. They're looking to make some important changes, and this has been on the burner for a little while now. And they're coming to the board, the select board with where they currently are. It just kind of shows what they're thinking. And I don't think we took a vote, but it sounded like everyone was more or less in approval that it was a thoughtful process. The key features are, first of all, to simplify the zoning of our downtown. Right now, it's very complicated, and even for town employees, sometimes it's very difficult to unravel the various layers of the zoning because there's several overlays. And for a developer, it's prohibitive. It essentially keeps you from a lot of developers from even wanting to bother. So the zoning is going to be simplified. There's going to be areas where rather than have a lot of overlays, there's going to be a little bit more of sort of partitioning of the zoning into three separate areas. There's sort of a main core area, and there's various zoning that's on the periphery of that. I think overall it's gonna make the work of the developers a lot simpler. And they're going to be able to see just immediately, right, what they are able to build and what they're not able to build. Right now, because of a lot of the overlays, it requires quite a bit of intervention by the planning board or the zoning board of appeals and these sort of special permitting authorities to dive in to see if something's allowed or disallowed. And so we're trying to get away from that. We're trying to make it something that's much more transparent to a developer, and hopefully that helps. Hopefully they're able to make their investments with a little bit more assurance. As for the next steps, they want to get input from citizens of the town, see what they want in these areas, what they think should be there, what they shouldn't be there. I can't remember anybody else on the board really addressing this, but I did say overtly, like, I don't have a strong opinion about what should be where. I think people should be able to weigh into this. It was already their plan to do that. But I think it's a good plan to basically poll the town, see what you guys care about, what you want in those areas. And then we'll have a good idea of where to go from there. The next section was sort of an A and B section to this, but it was all covered in one document, which is the COVID-19 emergency regulations. This is also John Charbonneau, and he was discussing for restaurants to open up in the or throughout town. Right now, there's a lot of requirements that the governor is allowing certain types of things to happen. For example, you can have outdoor seating, or things have to be spaced out a certain distance. If you go some places, you'll see people putting up dining room tables or dining tables on sidewalks or in parking lots. And he developed a document that basically provided a guidance for restaurants, the things they need in order to open up immediately. The document itself is pretty thorough. It's been reviewed by our town council. It's based off of documentation from Norwood. This is essentially like the sort of their version of these requirements, and it wasn't strictly a copy and paste, but it served as the guidelines for what we did. And KP Law, our town council, reviewed it as well and had some additions that they wanted in there. Even with all of that work, there are still some things I think that the current select board wanted to at least take a look at, tinker with maybe a little bit. But we don't want people to wait. We don't want restaurant owners to have to wait for us to do that. Right? We meet next time we meet is like 2 weeks from now. Maybe it's next. I think actually it might be next Monday. We were thinking about we wanted to pass this along to the COVID-19 Emergency Advisory Board. They might take a couple of weeks to turn it around. What we don't want to do is have restaurants who want to open sort of sitting on their hands waiting for us to just go through this long and elaborate process. And if the changes are, we know are not going to be material, they're going to be, maybe 10 feet instead of 6 feet or something like that. Like we want to see people getting moving, opening up, and getting business rolling again. And we will tweak our documentation as we need to, and send it back out again. But yeah, we want to. That's the main cause of that. So the part A was on dining, part B was on beverages, so like alcoholic beverages. But all of that information was contained within one set of requirements. Then we went to the consent agenda. We had 4 items: approval of payroll bills, warrants, and any other documents to come before the meeting. A proclamation for June 18th through the 25th, 2020, to be named the 43rd Annual National Nursing Assistance Week. Next was water connection for Charlie and Jerry Heinberg, 22 Kevin Clancy Way. And then approval of open session minutes for May 12th and May 19th of 2020. And after that, we went into executive session. As always, I'll read what's on here, but I can't tell you anything that we discussed. It's not as exciting as it sounds. So, discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the fire unions, patrol union, police supervisors union, DPW union, dispatch union, professional administrative union, library union, and town hall associates pursuant to general law chapter 30A, section 21A3. And then the second item of executive session is the approval of executive session minutes from May 19th, 2020. And we had 2 sessions, session 1 and 2. That is the meeting. I did it in less than 20 minutes. It's amazing. So thank you again for allowing me to serve on the select board for the town of Stoughton. It's been a huge honor. Now being chosen to be the vice chair of that board is also a tremendous honor. And we'll just keep on rolling, trying to get things done here. I appreciate everybody's faith in me. I'll try to continue to do the work that you've asked me to do and not let you down. Please reach out. You can email me, call. You've got an anonymous suggestion box down below. I want to hear it. So thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you soon.